Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back here again. Michael just texted me back, and he said he was ready. So I'm gonna attempt this again. See if we could try to get this through. So I'm just gonna wait up for him and see what happens. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what was going on, but either way, if we could get it going, we can get it going. So sorry about that, guys, for the hold up. I think next time what I'm gonna do is like when I'm ready to have let the person that I'm gonna interview with me, he or she could just get into the stream first, and then I could do it. All right, here we go. We got Michael. Hey, what's up, champ?
What's going on, man? I'm sorry about that, man. There's lots going on today.
No, no, no. It's all good, man. I was thinking that you had some stuff going on, so I was just being patient. That's all.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm, but yeah, I'm so, yeah. Still, I apologize.
No, no, no. It's all good. Uh, yeah. Pretty much, I was just gonna bring you on here for me to just ask you a couple questions and try to see how's everything going with your career.
Okay, definitely, I'm ready.
All right, sweet. Well, first I wanted to probably ask, could you introduce up the fans to yourself, who you are, and how'd you get into the sport of boxing?
My name's Michael the Professor Fox. I'm 25 years old. Actually, I'll be 26 on this Thursday. Um, I got into boxing at the age of 4. My brother and I, we walked in the Hillcrest boxing gym. We followed some friends from football into the boxing gym, and we stayed. We stayed when they left. We stayed, and we've been boxing ever since.
Oh, nice, nice. I really do like how you fight. You fight very how should I say, very passive aggressive. A lot of people would probably even think that you probably have like a similar style to Paul Williams in that certain regard as far as what the frame goes.
Yeah, I think of course. Well, with me being tall, that's one of the main comparisons I get. Paul Williams and Tommy Hearns, I get comparisons to them. But yeah, I try to take a little bit from everybody. So Paul Williams had a lot of aggression. But I think a little more about defense, um, whereas he thinks more about volume and offense.
Oh, okay, got you. As far as what the training goes, do you have like a particular trainer that you're with, or who do you work with to perfect your skills?
Oh, I'm trained by my father, Troy Fox. He basically he when we started boxing, he started learning to be a coach. Um, we the biggest thing is he looks at the sport the way he looks at the sport a bit differently. Just as he's always learning. He's a sponge. Like anything he kind of dedicates time to, he'll he can master. And the same thing goes with coaching. You know, we weren't because I'm 6'4" now. We weren't always me and my brother weren't always tall, but he was able to adapt to the way our body changed and then we adapted it. The style I have now comes from a lot of trial and error. Things that we learned while doing, and we perfected it. Kind of like iPhones update every other day. So we try. That's how we are with our skill set.
Nice, because I really do like watching you and your brother fight. I'm gonna be very honest. I didn't know anything about you until I saw the absolute robbery between you and Gabriel Maestre. But your brother, he's a very good fighter. And correct me if I'm wrong. You and your brother, you guys have some really good amateur background, right?
You say what?
I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but you and your brother have a good amateur background, right?
Yeah. Well, my brother has about 200 fights, and I have about 100. Um, Yeah, so we have so that's a lot of amateur. I think that's a lot of amateur experience for both of us. But like my brother, he did better than amateurs. He attended more national tournaments than I did. So he was able to amass about 200 fights fairly easy. Like even when we were kids, there was a lot of amateur shows in our area all the time. So we would always be active, and then we'd be when we head out of town on the times that we could. But yeah, a lot of amateur background.
Oh, okay, got it. Did you ever have any like goals to expand that amateur background to go to the Olympics, or I guess challenge for more titles in that sector?
Well, I mean, I didn't I always wanted to, but the biggest thing about it was that I didn't. When I was at boxing as an amateur, I didn't take the sport. Like the sport didn't come with me when I left the gym. You know what I mean? I would come to the gym, do everything that's asked of me, but when we went home, I was like, in my mind it was okay. Boxing's over now, so we'll be back tomorrow. So I wasn't at home, doing push-ups, doing sit-ups the way I was supposed to. I just thought everything that was done. I thought the time I spent in the gym was just enough. Whereas now it's a lifestyle. So if I had the mindset I have now, I would have done better as an amateur. I would have had more fights, and I would have won more national championships and things like that. But I blossomed as a pro.
Got it. Because correct me if I'm wrong. Did you fight at the same weight that you fight now back in the amateurs at welterweight, right?
Well, I thought leaving the amateurs, I was fighting at like 141, so I originally went down to 135 as a pro, and then until when my body couldn't hold it no more, I went to 140. And then when my body couldn't hold 140 anymore, I went up to 147.
Got it. And I assume as far as the level of competition, have you been fighting guys to get up to any ranking sanction body, or how did it work for you coming up in your professional career?
Coming up in my professional career, I had about 3 or 4 4-rounders, scheduled 4-rounders. Those were just to get me used to it. And then once we started fighting 6-rounders, I started fighting at least 500 guys that had winning records. I never tried to fight guys that had losing records. Even if a guy was 5-5 or something like that, that's still an even record. We didn't want to fight anybody that would lay down. So it wasn't a big deal. I knew it wouldn't be too much of a big deal for me when I got to the level I'm at now. But during that climb, I got offered names. But I mean, they said they oftentimes when they found out how tall I was, they said no to me. So it wasn't just a quick climb or anything like that. Because I would fight tough and capable guys, but they weren't always. They weren't the big names. They weren't the big prospects. They weren't the big prospects coming up. But they were like I said, they were sturdy, and they helped me to get ready for now.
Got it. Because I actually had Shenard Bunch here on my show a couple weeks back, and I was asking him the same exact thing of how he was coming up, and he kind of told me he basically tried to fight guys that were at least on his level or at least above him, and he saw some good names himself. His only loss really came from Paul Kroll. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you face Paul Kroll in the amateurs?
No, I never fought Paul Kroll in the amateurs. No, did I? No, I never fought Paul Kroll in the amateurs. At one point, I know, we were working with the same promoter, so I thought we would fight as pro. I thought we would fight as pros, so I kept an eye on him. But no, our paths haven't crossed competitively yet. And Shenard, and I've also followed Shenard Bunch's career too, because I thought we're all I'm close in weight with all those guys, so I try to keep an eye on everybody. But Bunch, like even in his last fight, I felt he won that fight.
Yeah.
He's a very solid fighter. I know the team that works with him, Peltz out of Philly, and Michelle Rosado and all them. They don't want to. They never try to match. Like they never try to throw shows that are like completely lopsided. So you come up under them, they'll get you fighting some sturdy guys.
Yeah, because I was basically told by him that after that fight, he tried to rematch Janelson, and his team didn't want to, take the rematch. So I guess he said that, he's just going to continue forward to other things. But I didn't know anything about him, and I didn't know anything about you. And when I found out he's super talented in so many levels, and same thing with you, I was like, dude, like, you guys are like really good, talented fighters, and nobody doesn't want to talk about you. And I found that very disrespectful by the media when they weren't giving you guys that, credit and respect when you guys were coming up in the pros.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I learned about pro fighting, just professional boxing, just like anything else, is it's about who you know. You link up with the right people. Some people can move you faster. Some people can get you on the right undercards and things like that. But like starting out, my first couple of fights, my first 7 fights, I didn't have a promoter, so I didn't get a lot of attention out of the gate. Any attention I'm getting now, and the record I had was built on the hard work I put in the ring each time, knowing that like the people in those small rooms were gonna see it. I made sure that I left a lasting impression. So once I actually started getting on TV and things like that, some people will watch.
Got it. Are you linked with any networks by any chance, or I assume that you're just a free agent trying to take whatever fight?
Well, I'm signed with King's Promotion. They're based out of Pennsylvania. Marshall Kaufman. I'm also my advisor, Mike Burrell. He works very closely with PBC. I'm not signed to networks as of right now. Like as exclusively, I'm not exclusively signed to any networks, but my team works very closely with Al Hammond and PBC. So my last couple of fights have been on PBC cards.
Got it. Because I was thinking that you would be actively fighting through there, so I figured I'd ask. But I wanted to try to switch topics to talk about the incident in your recent fight with Gabriel Maestre. Could you, I guess, tell the audience about that fight, of how that went down with the cheating scandals in the fight and the corrupt judge decision?
Okay, so back before we get to the ring, let's talk about we're getting our hands wrapped, and when you get your hands wrapped, someone from each team gets to go to the other team's corner just to watch, to make sure there's no foul play. So we sent my cut man over there, and we had to, and they weren't wrapping the hands properly. You know what I mean? They were putting tape and gauze and tape. You can't stack tape. You can't keep stacking gauze and tape like that. So that was the first thing we had to correct them for that. The inspector, my cut man told the inspector, "Yo, you gotta let them know they can't do that." You know what I'm saying? And then as we're getting the gloves, he comes back, we're putting the gloves on. Once we're both in the ring, my promoter spots Maestre's gloves, and he tells my coach, he tells my dad that tape is up too high. I think they're trying to skin the gloves. You gotta say something about that. He said, "All right, I'll say something at the final instructions." So they announced us as soon as we walked to the center. My dad points at his gloves and said, "Man, that tape's up way too high. The referee, Mark Nelson, sees the tape, and he says, "All right, go to your corner." And he sends Maestre back to his corner, says, "Yo, who taped this up this high, who signed off on these gloves. If you look, the gloves had, they signed, after you tape the gloves up, they signed it with a permanent marker. Nobody signed off on his gloves. Nobody, like, once they were on, there was no signature on his gloves. So when they had him redo the tape job, when they had him redo the tape for the gloves, what my promoter thought was happening, it happened. They were trying to skin the gloves. So they retied it, they taped it, and then the fight went on, and then I guess the judges took that fight off because they judged that fight. They did not judge that fight correctly, according to, and that's not according to me. That's according to that's according to everybody. That's according to anybody that watched that fight. I have yet to really find anybody that said that'll legitimately say I lost that fight. So, and then after we leave the venue is when I find out about the tweets from the judge. Like, somebody did a deep dive on her Twitter, which they didn't have to dive that deep. Those tweets were from November. November of last year, so they didn't have to dig in that far. They found those tweets about her calling Michelle Obama a monkey and telling LeBron James to go back to the stables and things like that. We found those in November. So when I seen it, a bunch of people had retweeted it. That's how I found out about it. A bunch of people retweeted it. So when they retweeted it, I saw it. I commented. I retweeted it, and I told her, like, man, there was no way I was gonna win on her card. She had it seemed she had some type of bias. I can't say for sure if she was racist in that moment when I fought, but those tweets would make anybody wonder does she have any bias when she judges fighters, when she judges African American fighters? We can't be sure now. Which is why now she's suspended indefinitely. She shouldn't judge again. This sport has a lot of involves a lot of African Americans in it. There's a lot of African Americans in this sport, so she would have to judge. It wouldn't be fair. She would always be called to question, no matter how good or bad she judges the fight.
Yeah, because I was very shocked when I found out about that, and I was pissed off, and I was just telling other people about it. Like, if this shit happened in the NBA or the NFL, you probably kiss those sports goodbye, because a good portion of the fans are black, or more so black American fans. So, translate that into the sport of boxing. Like, if black Americans just said, okay, look, we're all going to just quit watching boxing, and same thing with the fighters, boxing itself would be boring. So, I find it very disrespectful of how she came about you publicly and what her views were, because it's like, if people like her are running those type of judging, how is that screening being processed properly to make sure that you're going to win your fights the fair and correct way? And I'll actually give you another good example, even though that it's completely different, but I'm just going to, just use it as a primary source. I don't know if you watched that Showtime fight of Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Raymond Gabayo. That was back in I think December or some other part of the earlier year, but Raymond Gabayo, he was getting pieced up by Manny, and Manny, he was taking him to school. He was dominating him the entire fight. I think he dropped him, I think in the 9th or 10th round. But the judges basically screwed over Manny and gave the decision to Raymond Gabayo. So could that issue itself could be concurrent in many fights that we don't even know that are being rocked right now to all these great fighters? Because if that's happening at an all-time high, then how are we going to enjoy the sport of boxing?
Yeah, anytime that there's a bad decision in this sport, it turns a lot of fans away from the sport. There has something different has to happen. I'm not exactly sure what it needs to be, but I mean, every fight can't be a knockout. So you have to have competent judges who have no bias and who can call it fair, who can call it down the middle. That has to happen. So somehow whoever's licensing these judges, there needs to be some type of change.
Yeah, because this corruption in boxing is getting too out of hand. Where I truly believe that the sport is pretty much on its last legs to survive, and if more incidents like this happens, it's just gonna go to basically crap, and everything's just gonna deteriorate very fast. Because the only reason why people only look at boxing is just to see their favorite fighters win or lose. But still, it's like at the end of the day, if you still have that political corruption in it, then the sport itself is just going to quickly deteriorate to absolute failure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the one thing about fighting. I was talking to my cousin not long ago, and he had said that what the difference between he played. Let me say he played football in the NFL. His name is Tyoka Jackson. He played for the Bucks, the Rams, and the Lions, I believe. But he said one thing about boxing. He said, much I love the sport, he said, I hate that he told me he hated what happened to me, and he said about football, basketball, things like that. The person that earns the win wins. Whoever scores the most points wins. But judging and boxing is so opinionated and can be biased that it can be so biased. It can be so biased that the right person won't always get the nod. You can't, and there's no way to guarantee that. In football, you know what I'm saying, you're guaranteed to get the win if you score more touchdowns. If at the end of the fourth quarter it's 21-14, you know who won. No, without a doubt in your mind, it's absolute.
Yeah, and I think honestly, the sport needs a heavily marketized on innovation to clean up all this corruption. Because I personally think there's a lot of state influence that's hurting the sport a lot. Because I believe a lot of these sanctioning bodies do have a lot of political protection and what they can do as far as structuring the fights their own type of way. So I'll just use Miguel Cotto and Antonio Margarito for that prime example. How was Margarito able to get away with cheating against Cotto, but then leading up to the second fight, he wasn't able to cheat Cotto again? Was it because Cotto, he spoke up about it and HBO actually got behind him and actually exposed Margarito for the cheating? Or was it the fact that Margarito tried to cheat against other fighters again, and then he got exposed more for it, and then he wasn't able to pull off with the same, tactics against Cotto in the rematch?
Yeah, no. It's definitely he got caught trying too many times to do it. It wasn't. I don't think it was anyone in boxing that made it. That kind of found it out. It was Nazim Richardson. Rest his soul. It was Nazim Richardson who is a coach who knows how to look after his fighters. That actually spotted this when he was fighting Shane. When Margaret was fighting Shane, he got caught because he did it. He tried it too many times, and he got caught by the right one. You know what I mean? But had they fought that rematch before, right, immediately back to back instead of a fight in between, he would have got to do it again. He would have gotten to do it again, and he could have another fight like that, two fights like Cotto had back to back, and Cotto might not have been the same. Cotto still has his faculties and everything, but two of fights like that back to back, and we might not see the same Miguel Cotto we have now.
Yeah, and it's messed up because it's this is a very violent sport, and I don't understand how all the disrespectful racist casuals want to say that boxing doesn't have any corruption, but we just see it all the time, and people don't want to talk about it a lot. And fighters like yourself, like you put your life on the line to get the fans the enjoyment of like what people want to see. And if people are not going to speak up on that, then the accountability is going to be lost to a point where everything's just going to disintegrate into oblivion.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think the corruption in boxing has probably existed for so long that people just like corruption. It's existed so long that people just think it's a part of the sport. Like I know you probably get tired of so a lot of people probably get tired of saying the same thing, but it needs to be said. Anytime it happens, it needs to be spoken about. Somebody and it needs to be called out anytime it happens. If there's fights, there's what like three or four major fights in November. If something corrupt were to happen in each one of those things, something illegal, something corrupt were to happen in each one of those fights, something needs to be said about it. You can't get tired of just speaking like, hey man, that's boxing. That's people that's people giving up on the sport, like giving up on any type of on making any type of changes. I understand you get tired of seeing it. We all get tired of seeing it. I didn't like that it happened to me, but anytime that it does happen, something has to be said, and that's why my situation even made a difference in the sport, just because people tweeted about it. People tweeted about it. People on Facebook. People on Instagram. Everywhere, people just kept talking about it until the WBA had to make like a bunch they had to reduce the belts and make mandatories and get rid of the interim belt entirely. There was stuff they had to do. They had to do a bunch of damage control. I mean, and and the WBA is probably not the only one. I think everybody is going to have a gripe with a sanctioning body, but when if something's going to happen with each sanctioning body, where the sanctioning body is where if enough people speak on it, they'll have to make some type of change. They'll at least have to clean up their act. It's gonna take another incident like mine or something just as severe or more severe for the next sanctioning body to clean up what anything that they might have wrong, and then another one. This is going to be the way I look at it. The way I look at my fight is after what happened, the robbery and everything. I just fell on the sword for the sport. To me, in my opinion, yeah, to me, I fell on the sword for the sport. WBA is the longest, is the belt that exists the longest. So they've had the most time to make rules, change rules, and do everything. But after what happened to me, the spotlight was on the WBA. The WBA had to make changes, and they have. They're trying. They made changes. They've made changes out of fear of losing their entire credibility as a sanctioning body. But if a threat like that is what it takes to clean up the sport, then so be it.
Gotta, because I really do like you as a fighter now, and I really want to look out for the safety of all fighters and every single athlete out there, not just boxing. Like if shit like that happened out of the NFL or NBA or basically whatever major sport that we all love, I still want to see the safety and justice for all athletes. But I wanted to ask some final questions. Where do you go from now from this incident? Have you tried to reach out to like any legal action to try to push against this robbery decision, or what's your plans to move forward?
Well, we reached out to get the decision overturned to a no contest due to the robbery being as crazy as it is, and due to having a judge who may or may not have a racial bias, but her tweets say her Twitter account says that she does. we all through August and September. We actually went through. We tried to go. We went through like trying to get the WBA and the Minnesota to overturn the decision. It's ultimately up to Minnesota to change the decision. But I got a letter in the mail from the Minnesota Commission, and they just basically told me, enclosed is the Commissioner's administrative order addressing the grievance filed by Mr. Fox. The Commissioner affirmed the win for Mr. Maestre over Mr. Fox. So basically saying they saw no reason to overturn the decision. They saw no reason to overturn the decision. So now I have to keep this law. This law stays on my record. A loss that I did not that I don't deserve. And as far as moving forward, we just we move on to the next fight. I tried to get a fight for October 30th. And they got scrapped due to the other fighter having his promotional status changing and everything like that. So as of right now, I don't have anything on the calendar, but I want to get one more fight in before the year is up.
Oh man, I'm just pissed off, man. But I hope you dominate in your next fight. To hell with the WBA and to hell with Gabriel Maestre. You guys are crooks in the Minnesota State Athletic Commission. But yeah, that's just horrible, man. I just can't believe that happened to you, and I really hope that you can chase your dreams to winning a world title, because in my eyes you're a world champion, because that's just dirty.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much, man. Yeah, we're still moving forward. This is still something I want to do despite what's happened. I still want to be in the ring. I still want to be in the ring. That hasn't changed. So my next fight, I'm looking to make a statement, and I have to, just because the attention garnered from this, or notoriety, or whatever you want to say. A lot of eyes will be on me to make sure I wasn't just a flash in the pan. I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter of substance. I can perform like that multiple times. That's not a one-off thing, and that's my goal in the next fight, to show I'm not one special night. I'm a night. I can consistently win. I can consistently dominate and consistently be as sharp as I was that night. For anybody who first saw me on that night, I have to consistently be that now, and I'm up to the challenge.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I think you have the skills to pay the bills, and I think the time is now. I would definitely like to see you fight again on Showtime or PBC. You definitely, shine out pretty well. And I wanted to ask, as far as like your next opponent goes, who would that next opponent be for the future?
Well, I'm not really sure at this moment. A lot of welterweights are fighting. A lot of welterweights are getting set to fight on October 30th. So we'll have to see October through November. So we'll have to see who's available. So after some of the dust settles, we'll have to see who's available.
Hey, I mean, if you could get a fight in with Janelson Figueroa, show him a little bit of a boxing IQ lesson, that is well deserved. Or Shanard Bunch, I am definitely for it. But whoever you're fighting next, I'm gonna tune in and I'm gonna promote the living crap out of that. But I wanted to just ask like a final question. Do you have any like final words for your fans and audience that are tuning in?
I just want to say thank you to everybody who's tuned in, everybody who has followed my career up to now. Thank you to the new followers I've gained. I'm grateful to anybody and everybody who spoke out against what happened in August, the Minnesota screw job, as I call it. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to anybody who spoke out with it, because if it weren't for you guys, me losing like that, it would have been for nothing. I mean, it would have nothing would have changed for the sport, nothing, and I would not have gained a following to perform in front of. So I'm grateful. To everybody who used their platforms to speak out on my behalf, especially after I was at a time where I thought everything I could have done was in that ring. Y'all kept fighting for me after the final bell, and I'm grateful for that.
Sweet. I just want to say thank you for taking the time and opportunity to come onto the channel and speak your piece. I'm more than willing to do this again in the future, whenever you're free. But I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you dominate your next opponent. And until next time.
Man, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Once again, I'm sorry I was a little late. A lot of late, actually. But I'm glad we still got it done.
Yeah, most definitely. Next time, whenever I'll do this again, I'll just make sure that you get here or whoever gets here that I'm going to interview, and then we'll just basically start from the beginning. But I'm happy enough that I stood around a little bit longer, and then we just got it done. So I thank you I thank you very much for that, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Yeah, that's my pleasure, and thank you.
Alrighty, I will see you later. And for those of you that have watched this live stream, be sure to hit the like button and share this video. And this is Kieran Rodriguez signing out, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you. All right, I'll see you later.